Welcome to American Outback, Episode 3 with me, MrSealyp. Why not start off an episode with a bit of contracting? Daria White. We'll start off with this, I think. Something interesting. Get into that header without destroying any of the crop. Without knocking over. It's going to take a little while to do this one. It says 47 minutes roughly, but it won't be that long. It won't be for you guys anyway. Cruise control on. So as you can see, because I'm kind of filming this off the back of the last episode, field 21A is still being seeded. You can just see the massive Ferguson just over there. So I thought I'd do a little bit of contracting. This is what I did on Goldcrest Valley. I can't remember how many contracting jobs I ended up doing Goldcrest Valley. I think it was up around 300s, I think. You know, sometimes you get a bit of spare time in your hands, you think, you know what, I'll do a bit of contracting. Get a few done, and you can make a nice bit of money. All adds into the coffers. And somebody did comment, and I really do apologise, I can't remember who it was, said about the maintenance costs for some of the vehicles that I bought in the first episode. But this is what I've said before on quite a few of the Let's Plays now. You do one contracting job, that pays that. And generally people kind of, not a lot of YouTubers, when they're doing the videos, tend to shy away from doing contracting jobs. They try and do other things instead, or as well as, or whatever. And I think you do a contracting job here and there. It doesn't matter if your leasing costs or your maintenance costs are a little bit higher, because that covers it. You know, don't shy away from buying equipment with a high maintenance cost. If you want to use it, use it. I do like these New Hollands. Swing around. Never ever seem to get that just right, but with practice. Right, I will see you somewhere near the end. Hopefully about $20,000, not pounds, richer. Very nice indeed. 19,069, so that's that 26,000, 26,500. The time bonus isn't very high, is it? But $26,500 back into the bank. The other job is finished on 21A. So with a couple of bits of, well, a bit of contracting done. Field 21A is complete. The money's gone down a bit again. I have bought a plough. I went with the JYMPA, the large JYMPA, the JYMPA SJ-11SR. I was a little bit concerned, and it was pointed out to me that the massive Ferguson with 400 horsepower might not be able to pull it, but To be fair, it's a very flat map. I think on hills it might have struggled, because I think it requires, what did it require, 375 horsepower was it? Something like that. 375 horsepower to pull it, and the Massey's got 400, so the fact it's flat, it's not having any problem at all. I'm over at field 1, which is the field that you start the game off with, which I completely forgot we owned. It hasn't got anything in it. It needs ploughing, so I'm going to get maximum yield out of it. Other thing that was mentioned, which I'd completely forgotten about as well, I did a contracting job on field 13 on Drummond, and the bit of equipment I used on the contract was this, and I commented on the fact that it had damaged the crops, which it shouldn't have done, and I completely forgot about that when I bought this in the other episode. That said, there has been the Coon DLC update since that, so I don't know if it is going to destroy crops. So the only thing I'm going to be able to do is the next time, or once the crop has grown to its next growth stage and I need to spray again, I'll give it a go. If it still does destroy the crops, I'm going to have to sell it and get something that doesn't. There's obviously the back mounted one that I could use instead. If it doesn't destroy the crops, then we're all good. On to the next thing, the Zator. I said Zetor, it's Zator, and I said it was Russian, it's Czechoslovakian. And they've been making tractors for a long time. Really impressive stuff, actually. It was mentioned to me that they were in fact Czechoslovakian company, so I looked online, I did a bit of research, and it's, yeah, fascinating, the history of the company. But anyway, yes, there we go. So a few things kind of corrected, sorted out prior to this episode. So I'm trying to get as much crop in as much ground as I can, so that I can make as much money as I can as quickly as I can. I know I've blown through 1 million rather quickly, but with the equipment I had, it would have taken me a long time to get anywhere, so it kind of made sense to do it this way. Just trying to work out when I turn whether or not I can avoid that, the Massey coming the other way. See how we get on. This thing picks up the bumps it did on the other field really noticeably, which is great because it's showing that the terrain response thing's working really well, and it's kind of interacting with that. It looks really realistic, so I like that. Try and make sure I turn it around and don't miss anything. I'm hoping by spraying over the bit that hasn't been ploughed yet, it's not going to stop the plough working, because sometimes that can be what happens. We'll see how we get on. This isn't going to work. Right, let's go this side first. Somebody also suggested to me that I plough a field and then grass it, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me because there are a lot of grass fields already on this map that you can go and just... I get it, if you plough a field and then grass it, you can then get 3 fertiliser states in the grass, which gives you a higher yield, but realistically the yields on the grass isn't that bad anyway. It's way better than it was in FS15, so just cutting the grass as normal should be enough when I get round to doing that. At the moment it's all arable, and whatever crop's going to make me the most money to get the ball rolling, because some of these fields are not cheap. Now the other thing I'm going to get criticised for, I've extended the field and I was told I keep doing that, or I keep mixing fields together and things like that, and I do. I'm trying to get maximum profit for the space I've got at the moment, I will get to a point, I will do a field, I don't know which one it's going to be, a farm, where I will not touch any of the fields. I'll leave them exactly how they are. I may have to do some more contracting, you know, just to make ends meet. Right, I'm going to leave this for a little bit now, because if I go over now just to give myself something to do, I'm going to be wasting spray. I'm trying where possible as well to use different bits of equipment. I use the Braydale spreader quite a lot, and I try to use the slurry spreader a bit more on Drummard. That's why I bought this. I thought I'd get a sprayer rather than a spreader on this one, and when I do contracting you get whatever you get, but I am trying to kind of mix up a little bit where possible. So the large JYMPA is doing an absolutely cracking job. It's not as wide as that other plough, and a few different people have sent me messages, sent me pictures. I had a amusing conversation with Fragdad earlier on yesterday now it would be, where he'd used the plough, the blue one, the Lemkin combination one, and it was just going up and down the same strip constantly, and for some reason at the edges of the field it does that. When it got to the middle with mine it worked fine until it got to the edges again and it was terrible. So yeah, I did say there's nothing wrong with 15 passes over the same strip, just make sure it's really ploughed well. Doesn't help when you're trying to get the farm done. Yeah, these JYMPA ploughs, I've said that right from the time these mods came out, and I suppose again if you're looking for me or looking to see different bits of equipment being used, yeah, I could be using all the different other ploughs. They're all much of a muchness, they're all the same style of plough, and they're all just different widths. I use the JYMPAs because of the ease of use, the fact you get the square ends on them, they're effective. I don't know, that's just a good plough. I'm pretty sure I am going to need to invest in a jet wash. That much is becoming apparent in this very dry, dusty, arid landscape. While the Massey finishes off, I am done with spraying. So this can go back to the farm. I'm just actually looking to see as I drive across the grass, is it damaging the grass? Mind you, the tractor will be, won't it? It's hard to tell. What I have to do is get the narrow tyres put onto the tractor and drive across somewhere. That's the only downside with the grass on the map. Because it's not green, you can't see as well if it's causing any damage. I suppose the other thing to do would be to drive across a crop, but I need to put some narrows on this first. So back to the farm and probably swap out these tyres and do a bit of a test. Probably another bit of contracting, boost the money a little bit. I do need to invest in a larger harvester, but they are not cheap. unlike Drummond Farm where I haven't done the gold coins yet, I found other ways to make money, and I've got one gold coin sitting there. I've used my gold coin option straight off the bat on this map, so there's nowhere left to turn. I thought I would pick a quick mission to do. Say mission, contracting job, whatever you want to call it. So I'm over at field 9, and interestingly it's given me the Kuhn Deltis, the rear mounted one that I was talking about. The Massey Ferguson 7700 should have narrow tyres on it. I hope it has. Or it's going to make a real mess. Yes, it has. So if the other one causes me problems, this is the alternative I could go with. I mean, there are obviously other spray alternatives. There are other spreader alternatives. There's slurry, there's manure. Obviously at the moment I don't have any of those. So, I love the way this unfolds. There was a lot of criticism about the Kuhn pack when it came out, saying that a lot of the equipment in it was small, and there is a lot of stuff, small spreaders and plows and 3-metre equipment, but there was some really cracking stuff in that pack. This isn't unlike or dissimilar to the Amazon sprayer. Slightly different design. I think it's a slightly bigger width. I think the boom width is a little bit bigger maybe, or it might be exactly the same. But it looks good. Unfolds nicely. I do like the Massey Ferguson 7700 because of the fact it's one of the larger tractors, or a largish tractor, that you can put narrow tyres on, which makes it incredibly versatile for a lot of work on the farm. And I think to start off with on this map, it's going to require contracting. There's no quick fix, there's no easy way to suddenly make a load of money on this map. It's turning and burning, getting those fields done, harvested, sold, prepared, reseeded, and off you go again. So yeah, just a lot of work. Obviously contracting, depending on the sizes of the fields, can take a big chunk out your day. If you do a contracting job that's going to take you, I don't know, 200, 300 minutes, that's a fair bit of time. And if you only sit down to play for a couple of hours a day, you haven't really got the time to be sitting there just doing a contracting job. And to be fair, this is actually quite a small field. Of all the fields on the map, it is a very small one. But just as I was flicking through, looking at different contracts, I saw the rear sprayer, and the fact I was only talking about it a little while ago, it seemed like the obvious choice. I do want to have a look around for some contracts to use some equipment I haven't used, either haven't used before or haven't used for a while, because that's always interesting. And I'm considering, if I do make a bit of money on this one, possibly buying the Guardian boom sprayer, the New Holland one, the SP400F. I had that in Goldcrest Valley, and I do like it because it's self-propelled. It's not trailed, it doesn't hook on the back of another tractor, it's its own unit. The only downside is it is expensive. Well, it's 240,000 or something. It's not cheap. So a very impressive 3,700 odd, but bit of work done. What do I need to do? Oh yeah, go and check out. I've got the seeder going. Put the Massey Ferguson onto the Horsch. That's over on field 1. That's sticking soybean back in. So I'll have 3 fields with soybean in that are all starting to grow. And it will be realistically, while they're growing, I would normally do some wood chipping, or I might whiz off and do some bales and prepare for the cows and things like that. I haven't got the money to be playing around like that. Doing it that way. So it is going to, like I say, it is going to require a completely different gameplay style, a way that I haven't done it on any of my maps before, which is that just turning and burning on fields. It's going to be redoing, which you guys aren't going to want to sit and watch me doing the same fields over and over again with the same crops. I will stick different crops into different ones. There will be a bit of contracting until I can really build up some machinery and equipment and get this map going, but it does require a different gameplay style, a different thought process. So, where are we? Over that direction somewhere. That's the other big plus doing a large open map like the American ones, again, which I haven't done for quite a while, is you've got plenty of like runoff space at either end, so you don't have to necessarily put headlands in onto some of the fields. There's plenty of room for the vehicles to turn around in, which is quite nice. It makes a pleasant change, like I said before, from being cramped into a small space. But this is going well, exactly how I need it to be. Right, over at field 16. Contracting job, but a test. It's the Metris 4102, so rather than use my own one for the time being, going through, I've just done it. Oh, got the cow edition of Ultra as well. Let's see if this makes a mess of the fields, and hopefully this has been resolved. I haven't used this one yet. It's in my downloads box. I haven't installed it. It's certainly an interesting looking tractor. So let's see if we can work out whether it's going to cause any problems or not. Always underestimate how wide that is. Got so used to the width of some of the other ones. Right, let's crack on. Fingers crossed. Aha! Right. Like I say, when I did this on Drummard and drove across the crop, it made a right mess, and I couldn't believe it was doing it. So that's not to say it won't do it on my own fields, but for the time being, doing a contracting job, I'm assuming in the update they resolved the issue with the narrow tyres. It doesn't seem to be destroying any of the crop, so that is good news. Again, that's just what's working for me, how it's worked out. If you're using it at the moment and it's causing you problems, I honestly couldn't say why, unless you haven't done the Coon update, or I honestly don't know, but I'm just, there we go, thought I'd mention it, and it's working, so that's good. I'm going to carry on with this contracting job, and we'll see how we get on money wise. So the sprayer worked fine, and field 1 is done, sown, sorted. Does mean I have to do a couple of trips to get this equipment back, but that's not the end of the world. So 3 fields seeded and growing. Now it will be very easy at this point to just speed time up. I've got no animals, so they're not going to get through feed or anything like that. I can just speed time up and get those crops to grow, so in the next 5 minutes they're all ready to harvest. I could do that. Will I do it? I don't like doing it. I've said that before. I don't like speeding up time. If you get in the habit of doing it, the problem is when you then do get livestock, if you're going to manage the farm well or properly, you then start neglecting the animals to speed crops up, and by the time you come back to them, everything needs feeding. There's mess everywhere, and that's just my OCD talking. I know it is. You know, I don't know. So I don't know. Will I speed up time? Possibly. Depends if I get frustrated enough or not. I'm thinking it's time for a jet wash. We do need one. So, let's get one. And just under the tree will be perfect. Excellent. So, let's jump out. Give this a bit of a going over. It is filthy. So, get it cleaned up before my daughter sees the state of it. Nothing worse than an ultimatum from my daughter. Okay. Not bad at all. This I'm going to park up out of the way and look for the next job, probably some more contracting. Stop that. That's it, you can actually see the tractor now, that's helpful. Let's just stick that in there, plenty of room in there. Drop that off. Whoa. I suppose, actually, I could lower it down, which kind of puts it in the ground, and then detach it. Yeah, it's better than just dropping it, isn't it? Right, where to next? It's all go at the moment. I've got crops in storage actually. I could sell everything I've got, but the prices aren't fantastic actually at the moment. Let's have a look what we're looking at price wise. There's a few things on the rise. I've got some canola, and that's going for, what's that, 1.3 at Tombstone Grains. Could sell what I've got of that. Not bad price at Outback Grains for wheat. Barley's not bad at Valley Grains. I could do a bit of a whiz round and try out some of these different sell points. I've got a bit of corn. What's that going for? It's on the rise at Valley Grains as well. So I could whiz round selling a few things just to add a bit of money. I don't need them at the moment. I'm not preparing for pigs or anything like that, so it's not like I need any. So I might do that, although the trailer I've got is huge, isn't it? Realistically, for taking 5,000–6,000 litres of each, that is a bit massive. So possibly a smaller trailer. I'm just very aware I'm spending my money a lot. Haven't got a cultivator, which I'll need for the next time I do some fields. Thinking time. So it seemed like a bit of a false economy to buy another trailer to sell stuff to make money. That seemed a bit weird. So whilst I only have small amounts in here, it made more sense to use this trailer and sell the few bits I have. So I'm going to whiz backwards and forwards and sell off the few bits I have in storage. Off screen, I think between this and the next episode I'm going to do a few more contracting jobs. I did think about getting a front mower and a rear loading wagon and maybe start cutting grass to put in for silage on the farm. It's kind of a preparation thing, but I think contracting is probably the way to go to make a bit of money. So I may just show the next episode one of those quick montage clips of just how much I earn on each one, not the actual episode or the actual not episode, the actual contract itself, but just how much I earn, just to prove that I am doing it. That's probably what I'm going to do. I've just realised I've come in the wrong way, but never mind. So yeah, there you go. That's it for this episode. Bit of contracting work to be done, or been done. Field 1 is now ready, and that's on its way, so 3 fields are on the way to growing. And just looking around now at all the options for fields that I could maybe plough, contracting jobs I can do, ways in which to make money. So that's it from me. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share the video, please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.